Hello lovely humans, how are you guys doing? I'm back with another video and I'm so excited because I'm starting a brand new video series! I will be back with more Doki Doki Literature Club playthroughs. Episode 4 is already finished. But I came up with this idea and I am super pumped about it, and I really hope you guys enjoy listening to me talk about this. So these videos are going to be called basically I Ramble About, and I'm just going to talk about different TV shows in geek culture, TV shows and animes that I love, and summarize them for you guys in a fun way. So today we're talking about, any guesses? Pokemon! Basically, this is Pokemon. Now, personally, I love Pokemon, which is why I'm going to be rambling about it today. Basically, we're introduced to this crazy world that's full of these creatures called Pokemon that basically look exactly like animals for the most part that we would find in the wild, with some exceptions. But for the most part, yeah, they're animals with powers. So we don't even know if this world actually even has pets. Like, are there real dogs? Because there's a Pokemon dog. Are there real cats? Because there's a Pokemon cat. Do people own birds as pets? Because there's lots of Pokemon birds. So it's unknown whether or not this world has actual animals, but it doesn't really seem like that is the case. And we're introduced to our main character, Ash Ketchum. Get it? Ketchum? Because you gotta catch them all, and that is Ash's goal in life. He's 10 years old, so clearly he's old enough now to basically, you know, put animals in battle against each other and be in really dangerous situations that could potentially get him really harmed and killed. And yeah, he's old enough for that. So Ash sets out to get his first Pokemon, because when you turn 10, you're allowed to have one. But oh no, he's the main character, so obviously he's very clumsy and always messing up, and he slept in. So he gets the worst pick of the litter when it comes to his first Pokemon. Now, the starter Pokemon are always super duper adorable. You got a really adorable fire-breathing dragon, you got a super cute turtle that could squirt out bubbles and stuff, and you've got a Brussels sprout with cat ears. But it's still cute. But Ash doesn't get to choose one of the main starters, so what is he gonna do? You will never believe what happens, guys. He gets stuck with Pikachu, who is actually even cuter than all three of the starters and is insanely OP'd. So clearly Ash is really pissed off. So Ash sets off on his journey with Pikachu in tow and meets his two best travel buddy friends, the classic side girl character who's super cute and gets really emotionally upset, and also the pervert? I mean, Brock means well. He likes women. So they set off on their adventure, and Ash has to beat all these gym leaders and win all these badges because he wants to be the best Pokemon trainer in the world and to catch them all. Which is funny because he doesn't really catch them all at all. He meets a lot of Pokemon along the way, a lot of interesting ones, and each episode is kind of dedicated to learning about that new Pokemon. Here's a horse Pokemon. It gallops like a horse, and it's a fire horse. Here's this Pokemon called Eevee, my personal favorite, who is actually adorable and can evolve into 3 different elemental versions of Eevee. Water Eevee, Fire Eevee, or Electric Eevee. That's pretty freaking cool in my opinion. Hence why Eevee is one of the best original OGs, just saying. So as Ash goes through his adventures, there's one thing that always stands in his way: the villains of the show. They're the horrible, menacing, terrifying group of 3 idiots. Jessie, James, and Meowth, who is a random Pokemon that knows how to talk for no reason. It's never explained in the show whatsoever, but thank God he's funny. We don't have to question it. James, who is literally like a theatrical performer personality-wise and is just hilarious. And Jessie, who's like, we should be bad, but we're just clumsy and not really bad. And for some reason throughout this whole show, all they want is Pikachu. Now, when you think about it, we have 150 Pokemon that are supposed to be super powerful. There's the starter Pokemons, then there's the second evolution, and then there's the third. And out of all of those 150 Pokemon, when you can have a giant tiger dog that breathes fire, or the huge Snorlax that could crush everything, or literal bird gods, all Team Rocket wants is Pikachu. I mean, it makes sense because in the first episode he's like super powerful and they're like, oh damn, this Pokemon's powerful and we're a villain, so it could be a good weapon. But even as the series progresses, their main goal is still to always get Pikachu, and you kind of understand that for them. I think it's kind of a pride thing. Like, it's like if it's taken us this many years to just not be able to catch Pikachu, we just need to catch Pikachu because there's something wrong with us. So watch the hilarious hijinks as Team Rocket chases Ash and his friends. Two grown adults and their pet talking cat chase a bunch of preteens all over the world, trying to, you know, get their pet mouse. I mean, I don't really blame them because Pikachu's adorable, but watch this continuous pattern of the same thing happen over and over and over and over again until we get to the first movie and we're introduced to the legendary Pokemon. The most powerful Pokemon in all of the world, Mewtwo, a clone of the ancient, rare, legendary Mew, which is basically like an adorable little fairy cat with a long tail, and Mew is so freaking cute. Like, we don't talk enough about how cute Mew is. It's so cute! But Mewtwo is basically a cloned version of Mew, and he decides that he is sick of humans taking advantage of him, and he wants to figure out who he is. So he epically explodes the lab that he was born in and starts attacking the humans and decides that he's gonna have his own Pokemon team. He is clearly the most powerful Pokemon in the world. He's strong, he could freaking talk without moving his mouth. He's the only Pokemon besides Meowth. Well, okay, the Meowth thing is quite a mystery, but he's the only Pokemon besides Meowth that could talk, which is pretty freaking cool. And basically Mewtwo was like the coolest thing to ever happen in Pokemon. Until Pokemon Johto happened. Before we know it, we're as surprised as Ash and his friends because we find out that there's like 300 other Pokemon that they for some reason never knew about for the first few seasons. They just always thought it was 150, but nope, there's 300 more. Not to mention, Mewtwo is no longer the most powerful Pokemon in the world because there's more legendaries. That's pretty cool. When the second movie came out, we learn about the literal bird gods of the Pokemon world, Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres. They each live on their own island and they each represent a different element, and it's super freaking badass. And then we're introduced to the god Pokemon of the sea, Lugia, a literal giant flying bird dragon who could swim and use psychic powers, and it's just so badass and awesome. And at this point we're like, okay, we've got legendary birds, we've got Lugia, we've got Mewtwo. This is so cool. These legendaries are badass. Until we realize that there's pretty much a million more legendaries. There's not only legendary birds, there's legendary dogs as well, which are pretty cool. I mean, you know, like if there's legendary birds, there might as well be legendary dog lions too, you know what I mean? Because, like, duh. So, 3 legendary birds, 3 legendary dogs, a legendary fairy that is like the legendary of the forest named Celebi, who's actually pretty adorable, but that's another legendary. She doesn't talk though, which is weird because all the legendaries were able to talk up until that point. And we find out that there's more and more legendaries. Oh, and also 400 more Pokemon. So at this point, this whole thing's getting a little repetitive, right guys? I mean, Ash goes to a new town, he meets 2 new friends, there's always a girl character that's really cute, and then there's always a boy character that's... Actually, I don't know what happened with the whole Brock thing, but there's no more lady chasers in the mix. They've kind of replaced the whole Brock trope with usually a geek character. So Ash goes to a new place, there's like 300 new Pokemon, there's a new girl sidekick, there's a new boy sidekick, and he, you know, he defeats all the gym leaders and just moves through that world until he gets to a new world with 300 more Pokemon. And whenever you meet more and more of these Pokemon, there's more legendaries too that all have their own movies. Do you know that there's actually legendary little tiny like sea squid Pokemon that live underwater? And then there's also these like legendary like Pokemon that can control time and space. And there's also this giant legendary like weird robot thing that like changes its body around, and Pokemon are actually slowly becoming robots too. Yeah, and then by the time we're getting to the point that there's like over like 700 Pokemon, we also learn that there are Pokemon that like look like household appliances. Like, remember how they used to just be like animals? Like, cool, like they remind us of animals in the wild, but they have powers. No. Now there's like swords that are Pokemon, there's like, you know, household appliances that are Pokemon, and there's an ice cream cone that's Pokemon. Tasty, right? And Ash just, I don't really know if this is like way in the future or not, but he's taken some kind of pill to make him stay 10 years old forever. Forever. He doesn't age, and now that I think of it, Jesse and James don't age either. And is this some kind of weird parallel universe where nobody ages? Because it seems like nobody ages. I mean, Ash's mom doesn't even age. He's always 10 years old no matter what. He's been, what, like trying to catch them all for what? How many years now? How many years now? He should be like 30. But no, he's just 10 forever, and we just accept that. And then we find out after knowing that there's so many new Pokemon all the time that there's, you know, alternate versions of Pokemon depending on where they live. So if they live in like a Hawaiian area, they turn into a Hawaiian version. And you know, they also could have 2 different forms. Every single one can, by the way. Like, we never knew that, you know, during the first 150, but now they could all have 2 different forms, and it's kind of crazy. And also, like, we also learned that there is actually one Pokemon that's the most powerful Pokemon in the world. Oh, you were gonna say Mewtwo, right? Nope, it's actually this Pokemon. apparently the god of the entire world of Pokemon and created every Pokemon to ever exist. So there is now a Pokemon that's literally the epitome of God. But it's okay because the story doesn't end and it just keeps continuing, and Ash will just be 10 forever and meet new Pokemon, and the legendaries aren't legendary anymore because there's so many legendaries that they're not even considered legendary because there's too many legendaries to make them legendary, and there's too many Pokemon. And that was me rambling about Pokemon. I'll see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed that, and please comment below and let me know what I should ramble about next.